Good morning, everyone. This session is a re-recorded from last week due to the audio issue we had. I'm Maria Quiroz, Interim Manager for the Small Business Development Department. I'd like to welcome you all to the San Diego International Airport first virtual Meet the Primes event 2020. Most of you remember last year we were at Balboa Park and had over 60 exhibitors and nearly 500 attendees. This year is definitely different, but we still wanted to provide small businesses the opportunity to outreach and connect with the primes. For any new business to meet the primes, the objective of our event is not only to present the industry prime contractors, but also to provide resources to help small businesses become successful, to learn about opportunities, resources, and valuable information that can help elevate your business. With that said, I want to welcome Gianna Vargas and Gemma Sandoval from our procurement department, who will be our presenters this morning. Following, we will have the labor compliance team. Welcome, Gianna, and thank you for your participation. And please introduce yourself and your team.
Good morning, and thank you for coming to hear about opportunities for contracting with the San Diego County Regional Airport Authority. I'm Gianna Vargas, the Director of Procurement and Contract Services, and presenting with me this morning is Gemma Sandoval, one of our procurement analysts. Today, we're going to go through a short PowerPoint overview presentation, and then spend the second half of our session looking at our bid management website. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. The authority operates with a centralized procurement department for procuring services, products, equipment, public works construction projects, and concessions. We procure a wide variety of items, much like a small city. We have also been proactive, part of the team that works with our innovation lab, so that we have an operating venue for new ideas and startups to be tested in an airport environment. If you are interested in working with the airport, it's important that you understand differences between the various solicitation methods. We have a P card or a credit card, and that's used for our small dollar non-repetitive procurements and purchases, and a request for bid, where the contracts are awarded based on the lowest price received from a responsive and responsible bidder. This is primarily used for materials, equipment, and construction. A request for qualifications are a recommendation based solely on qualifications. These are used for architects, engineers, and design build contracts. It's also used to establish a pre-qualified list or a pool of respondents for either a ready service on-call trade agreement or as part of a two-step procurement process in addition to either the RFB or the RFP. Finally, the request for proposal is used for contracts awarded based on a published list of criteria, including cost and expertise. RFPs are the most frequently used for professional and non-professional services. Procurement is committed to the small and local business community. That is especially significant at times like this, when it's so important to sustain our business community. Our teams attend outreach events, virtual and in person, and provide training in addition to applying appropriate preferences to all of our projects. We also benchmark and track certified small and local business participation on every project that is competitively solicited. It is important that all eligible local and small business entities work with our small business department to get certified in order to receive a preference. It is also important that all contractors and subcontractors for public works projects be registered and pay an annual fee to the DIR. No contractor or subcontractor may be listed on a bid or proposal or work on a public works project unless they've registered. I've included the web address in our presentation, so you will have that to refer to if this is something that applies to your line of business. And now I'll turn it over to Gemma.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to show you how to get to our contracting opportunities page from our landing page, which is www.san.org. Once you're there, scroll down to the bottom of the page. Under the business category, you will want to select the business opportunity option as shown on the screen. That's going to take you to our business opportunities page where you can find the contractors opportunities section. You want to press there. And this is what our contracting opportunities page looks like. And I'm going to go over on the important sections you can find on this page. The highlights that you can find from the authorities contracting page are as follows. You can find doing business with the airport brochure, the vendor registration information, and the link to Planet Bids, which is our vendor portal, where you can register as a bidder online and search for current contract solicitations and much more. You can view our standard terms and conditions for the different types of agreements. You can also find safety and security instructions for contractors, as it is important for contractors to get familiar with the security rules and regulations pertaining to all work conducted at San Diego International Airport. You can also find a W-9 form, as all businesses that receive a purchase order or a contract are required to have a W-9 form on file with the authority's accounting department. Three very important links you can also find on this page are the small business development page, link page, which is, so if you're a small, local, disabled, or veteran-owned business and would like to find out more information about our small business development program, please visit their link. The other one is the current major subcontracting projects link. So if you're interested in additional subcontracting opportunities with the prime vendors doing business with the airport, visit this link. And the last one is our concessions management, where you can find information about opportunities on how to become a concessionaire. I'm going to show you how to register on Planet Bids, which is our vendor portal. And this is the important information to have available prior to registering. You will need to have your federal employer identification number. It will ask for your name, vendor name, address, and contact information, and you will have to at least select one commodity code or business category, and I'm going to go over why that's important shortly. And if applicable, please make sure to have your contractor's license number and expiration date available. If you are a small or disabled business, have your certification number and your DIR registration number available as well. Please note that you can always, if you don't have all this information available when you're registering, you can always go back at any time and update that information. So this is what our vendor portal looks like. And when you're ready to register, you're gonna go there to where it says new vendor registration tab. And Jana's gonna take us to our Planet Bids link.
Okay, you ready to stop sharing?
Yes.
And I will share. Is it coming up?
Not yet.
Okay, it kicked me out while we were waiting, so I've re-logged in, but this is the vendor portal.
So this is what the vendor portal looks like. Thank you, Jana. You're gonna wanna go to new vendor registration tab. So once you're there, you're gonna create your vendor profile. The first tab, it will ask you for your company information. This is where you would create a password, where you add your company information, such as a business type, your tax ID, your address, and you have the those are your options. On the bottom, you can add your main contact information. The next step is the additional, if you want to add additional addresses, if you click add, you can also do that as well if you have multiple addresses. The next one is adding your classification licenses. So if you are a certified disadvantaged business or a small business, you can add your information there as well. The demographic tabs, it's not required, but if you wanted to add your ethnicity, you can do that. And also the last one would be being able to add your contractor's license information. That's where you would do that. The next tab is yeah, so Jana's showing you how you can do that to add your contract's license, and you can add your license number, expiration date. The next one is other business information that you can add. It's not required, but you can do so, such as payment terms and number of full-time employees, etc. You can add the information as well. The next one is a category and description. You can add a small business description of your business. The most important thing here is to add a category. You have to at least add one category, and you can always go back and add more, but you can search it and it will come out with different options, and you can select it and then add it. And then you're gonna see it on the chosen category section. And once you're there, you can add as many as you want. And when you're done, you just press done, and that's gonna add it for you.
And you can also add multiple search criteria. So if you want to look up 2 or 3, as you can see, I'm kind of doing that here. So I did consult and then I did concrete. And I can continue to add as many as I think might be relative to my business model.
Yeah, exactly. You can add as many as you want that are pertain to your business, and you can always go back and add more. And it is important to at least add one, but even more important if you want to add multiple ones that pertain to you, because when there is a solicitation opportunity, you'll be notified of those opportunities. And the last one is local business certification. So if you wanted to, it has information if you wanted to find out more about our local business preference program, you can visit their website, and you can also add your certification status, and any attachments, you can add it there as well.
Okay, I'm going to cancel this, and I'm going to share a couple of our bid opportunities just so you can see additional ways that you can use the website. There we go. It is slow today. Okay, I'm going to minimize this so hopefully you can see all of my screen here. So I went under bid opportunities, and you can see all our current bids and previous bids. So before we go on to take a look at some of the details, I want to spend a little time on this screen. As Hima talked about, and I had demonstrated a little bit, here are the categories that are used, and those are used to notify whether there's a business opportunity. So these are the ones that actually got an email separate saying, hey, there is an opportunity with the airport authority under your listed category. So if you want to make sure you're notified, this is a great place to take a look at some of our similar projects and maybe subcontracting or prime contracting opportunities, and see if you have these categories listed in your business registration. So this is a great double check. As you can see, as you hover over the project title, you're going to get a brief description that tells you what that project is. Again, that's to let you know just a little bit about it so that you can see if that's something you find additional information on. And then of course we have the due date, and you can see there's a countdown here. So those things that are actively bidding, and whether they're received electronic or paper only, you'll see the countdown here for how long those jobs will be open. But another key feature that you can use here, and I'm gonna look at one that's been awarded electronically, proximity cards, is you can actually receive details in the solicitation. Come on. So here, when you click on an opportunity, whether it's one, I picked one already awarded because I want to show you all the tabs across here for what information you get. But anytime you're looking to solicit a bid, the first item is going to bring up all your general information. So here we have that description once again, and you'll see some of those crucial deadlines. So for this one, it's the questions must be submitted in writing via email by 2 p.m. and on the deadline date. You'll also see the close date that was up at the top. So this one posted on the 13th, it was closing on the 28th. If there are line items, you'll see line items. This is a completely electronic bid. So in this case, we're getting 30,000 HID proximity cards. Attachments and documents. Here's where you will download your request for bid. And this was a Q&A document. You'll also see that sometimes it requires addenda, and addenda are required to be acknowledged. And it's something we thought was critical in order that affects the response. So those will need to be acknowledged online before you can submit your bid. But one of the other real key opportunities when things are actively bidding is to come along and look at the prospective bidders list. So as you see bidders that are there, this is everybody that's downloaded the bid opportunity. And if you're a subcontractor and you think there's an opportunity for you in this submission, you want to go ahead and download, because not only do you get information, including contact information for prime contractors who might be responding to this bid, and you'll be able to tell if they're a bidder or a non-bidder, but you will also they will also be able to see your information. And it's especially important if you're a certified disadvantaged business, if you're a minority-owned business, if you've been certified as a local business. And when those people are looking for additional engagement with our local business community, they're going to look at this for subcontractors. The next tab is bid results. So here you can see we've received 5 responsive bids, 5 vendors responded. Here are their business types. Here are the bid amounts, and that was at the electronic opening. And you can see our lowest responsive and responsible vendor, and it has yes here, is also a Hispanic certified small business. And finally, here is where you can see the awarded information. So here you see we awarded to ID Systems and Supplies for $90,600. Now, just to show you something that's a little bit different, I am going to go in and show you the information that we have under a construction project, because I think that's also very helpful. And Here's our most recent one, rehabilitate cross taxiways C2 and C5 and D. Let's go to that real quickly. So here you can see we've listed, and it went to several more, both prime and subcontracting, specialty type, trade contractors, site preparation, cement manufacturing, but several additional categories that we actually solicited this bid for to make sure they receive notification. You can see an estimated bid value, engineering estimate. You see that bonds are required. The pre-bid meeting happens, but it's not mandatory, although it's a great way to find out more about the project. So I would encourage you to attend. The contact information for that. The procurement analyst that's working on that project, and here's your basic scope and other details. We're always going to talk about when's the last day to submit questions in order to make sure that you get everything answered. So when we're doing, and this happens to be a paper bid, but it's all in the documentation, you'll see there's no line items listed. But here are all the documents that need to be downloaded. So the drawings, the safety manual, Q&A, pre-bid agenda. And then here are the addendums that need to be acknowledged, along with emails that were sent. So notices, clarifications, Q&A might be done on an email, but addendas are when it actually affects or changes the bid document, which is why it's so important to check this and make sure that you have acknowledged it, whether it's paper or an electronic. In this case, you see we have 54 vendors that downloaded the opportunity. We talked about the registration, California DIR registration. Important to have that information there because, again, if I have a prime that's looking for subs that are already registered, they may look for that additional information to be here. But otherwise, even if it's a sub, like here you can see we have a prime, and we also have subcontractors, and we have suppliers who might supply material for that particular opportunity. So people will register their download, and that way they can share information. They can use this information to network. And you can also see if they attended the pre-bid meeting, but again, it was not mandatory, but that could be really important if it was mandatory. Here we have our bid results. So even in a paper bid, we will tell you what the initial bid results are. And those will be posted so you can see we had 4 bidders. Here's their bid results. But right now, these are currently being looked at to make sure whether they're responsive and responsible before we have a recommendation or an award. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and we'll go back to Hema, who's going to talk a little bit more about contractor responsibilities.
Thank you, Jenna. Can you see my screen?
No.
Oh, sorry, 1 second.
Now we got it.
Oh, sorry about that. Some technical difficulties today for sure. Here we go. Okay, so as Janet mentioned, so I'm going to talk about the contractor's responsibility. So it is important once you register that you have all the information there, and it is your responsibility that you are checking the portal, the bid side, for bids for updates, addendums, and Q&A, like Jana mentioned. And make sure that you are meeting the minimum requirement qualifications, such as licenses or necessary permits, and make sure that you submit all requirement materials fully and completed prior to the solicitation closing time. And you want to make sure you have the proper insurance, funding, and payroll, and that you are aware that of the purchase order construction contract or service order terms and conditions. And then also you're aware of the authority's operational safety and security requirements.
Okay, now we're going to go over a couple of tips and tricks. And the first one is to establish a central sales email and password for all your contracting opportunities and notifications, and make sure it's something you check regularly. So these are just items we've heard from different contractors and different companies on things that really work to make sure they don't miss opportunities. It's also lessons we've learned, because the most frequent thing that we get asked is, this person signed us up to get notified and they're no longer with us. Or I had a summer intern, they got us signed into all these places, nobody knows where the password is. So in an effort not to do that and making sure you get something mixed that's always checked, I always say it's very easy to establish another email and then direct it to the right people or multiple people within your company, and come up with a password that you use for these sites that everybody's familiar with, so that you're always able to respond to opportunities. And this will also assist and make sure you don't miss opportunities, especially when there are staff changes, and also to make sure you have adequate backup for your core sales team, which is very important, just in case people want to actually get back to taking vacations, which I know I miss. The next is to review solicitations for subcontracting opportunities. Don't just select business categories applicable to your business, but select larger project categories that could include subcontracting opportunities, and also ways to network. Next is listen and learn what's important to the contract owners by attending the pre-solicitation meeting. Most of these are non-mandatory, and although nothing new will be presented, a lot can be revealed when you listen to the contract owners speak about what's important to them as they present details of contracting opportunities. Pay attention to important dates and deadlines. We list important dates on the project overview. You saw that when we went to the bids. On the cover page of each solicitation, so the minute you download, you'll see all the important deadlines, last day to ask questions, when the due date is, when the pre-bid meeting is. Make sure you're aware of all these deadlines and you plan accordingly. Read the bid specifications and make sure you have your questions ready so that you can submit them or find out additional information that you can look for when you're attending a pre-bid meeting. For SCRA solicitations, we recommend you check the website 48 hours before the published due date for any new addendums or project-related clarification. Remember, addendums must be acknowledged before you can submit a response. A 48-hour window before the due date will ensure you're responding to all the correct information that's required. We will not be able to submit. You will not be able to submit electronically, and we will not be able to receive your submission if you haven't acknowledged all the addendums. And also allow plenty of time for your bid proposal and submission. I can't emphasize this enough. Please do not wait until the very last minute to upload or submit a response. Electronic submissions make responding much quicker than paper responses, but they're not instantaneous. Allow time for uploads, potential technical issues, just like you would allow time for traffic if you were driving your bid in. Finally, this last slide is a simple one-page overview of our solicitation process that we like to include as a reference. It covers everything we've talked about today at a very high level. And that concludes our presentation today. Please continue to, if you have any questions, reach out to small business, work with Maria and Christine, and they can get back to you. But thank you very much for attending. Back to you, Maria.
Thank you for your participation in our procurement department presentation. And thank you, Jana and Hema, for your support and participating at this with us at Meet the Primes. Today is the 4th day of our 5th day event. We hope that it has been beneficial to all of you that have been attending. We will be sending a survey out at the end of our 5-day event. Please take the time to complete it. Give us your feedback. This is what's going to help us improve planning these events going forward. Again, special thank you to Jana and Hema for an excellent presentation. And we will be closing this session now, and we will hope to see you on the next one. Thank you.